The guys, the other laureates, were bustling around. We were all a little nervous. We were led into the hall where the ceremony was to take place, explained that each name would be announced. Director of the university would count the short achievements and present the award. We all took our places in the front rows. The hall filled with guests, and I noticed that Hannah was sitting next to her parents. My sister was wearing an expensive dress with a chic handbag on her lap. Mom and Dad looked a little confused, as if they themselves did not understand what they were doing in such a hall. I tried not to meet their eyes so as not to be distracted. I was ready for the most important moment in my life. Finally, the ceremony began. The host announced one laureate after another. Vivid biographies were heard. Someone created a program for optimizing tax accounting. Someone distinguished himself with student projects at the international level. I applauded everyone, trying to contain my excitement. And then it was my turn. The rector stood up and said, "The next student, ladies and gentlemen, is an example of resilience, discipline, and independence. Without financial support from her family, she went from being a cleaner and a librarian to being one of the best in her class. Her teachers call her a person of iron will and determination. Meet Rachel Moore." The audience burst into applause, and I heard several people stand up. I stood up from my seat, feeling a wave of heat spreading through my body. I was walking toward the stage, and at that moment, I turned to the audience and saw my parents' faces. Mom was sitting with a cold expression, and I didn't see the usual pride in her eyes. Dad seemed surprised, as if he hadn't expected everything to be so serious. Hannah looked at me with bewilderment, mixed as it seemed to me, with some envy. And then I realized they really were seeing me as if for the first time. I went up on stage, the rector shook my hand, presented me with an award, and briefly congratulated me. Then we took a photo, and I returned to my seat to the general lively jubilation. I felt as if fate had finally repaid me for all those years when I was ignored. After the ceremony, not only Professor McLaughlin, but also other professors and representatives of large companies approached me. They congratulated me, handed me business cards, asked if I was interested in an internship at their companies. I smiled and quietly rejoiced. Here it is, the reward for hard work. And suddenly I saw the rector, who also came up to me and whispered in my ear, "You have proven that family is not always the one who helps. Sometimes family is yourself. Don't forget that now all doors are open for you." I nodded, thanked him, and then I noticed my parents and Hannah walking towards me. I saw them, sighed, and mentally prepared myself for another cold conversation. "Rachel," Mom said, trying to smile. "Congratulations. You're great, I guess. But why didn't you tell me it was that serious? Have you ever listened?" I answered simply. I thought there was little aggression in my words, more weariness and release from years of expectation. Mom frowned, and Dad started to say something. "We always believed that you were capable of so many things, but we didn't know that you needed help. We thought you could handle it yourself." "You never asked if I needed help," I said. "It suited you to think that Rachel can do anything. But, sometimes I wanted someone to support me too." "Well," Mom looked at Hannah, confused. She stood silently looking for me to my parents. Then Hannah